Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Sandy. I make bullet journaling content, reading content, lifestyle, all that good stuff. And I just had a baby about 3 weeks ago. This is Penelope. Little squirmer right now. She just woke up. But today I thought that I would share my birth story with you. I specifically wanted to share my birth story because I gave birth at the hospital and I had a really positive experience. And a lot of the times on the internet, in general, YouTube, Instagram, all the places, I see a lot of negativity surrounding hospital births, and I know that for me, as someone who was planning to have a hospital birth and I had an elective induction, it was kind of scary and didn't make me feel great to see all this stuff about really negative attitudes towards hospital births. And so I just wanted to share my story because I hope that if you're somebody who's planning on having a hospital birth, that you can know that it can be a really positive experience. It doesn't have to be negative just because it's in the hospital. So yeah, that's my little disclaimer, I guess, and let's just get into the story. So I chose to have an induction. I was induced on my due date, which was October 6th. It was a Thursday night. We went in at around 8 p.m. They started me on a low level of Pitocin, and basically for the whole night we just tried to get some sleep. My husband was with me and my mom, and they just put us in the delivery room, and that's where we started. And the Pitocin did make me have contractions, but it was such a low level that really they didn't hurt for me at all. It was more like period cramps. I was able to get a little bit of sleep, but I was really excited, so it was really hard to sleep. And with monitors on and stuff, it's kind of hard to sleep, and being attached to an IV and stuff, it's hard to get comfortable. But yeah, so basically all of us just tried to get some rest. We were all really excited, and sleeping in the hospital is never super comfortable, to be honest. But the nurses were really awesome, so kind and so helpful. And then at around 5 a.m. they came in and raised my Pitocin level to a level 5. So they started off at a level 1, I don't know if I said that, but started off at a level 1 and then they raised it to a level 5. And this made my contractions come a little bit more frequently, but at this point they were still pretty mild. I wasn't really feeling them that intensely or anything. My midwife came in at around 8 a.m. and she broke my water. And at that point they talked to me about what my pain management options were and kind of what the plan was for today, which was for the day, which was basically to keep raising the Pitocin level and just kind of see how things go, and see how I progress and stuff. So after my water was broken, that's when the contractions started feeling really painful to me. They also raised my Pitocin level up to, I think, to a level 7 or 8, I can't remember. So yeah, at that point they were getting pretty intense, and until probably about 11 a.m. I was just kind of dealing with them, but at that point I was like, okay, I need to have something to help me with this pain. So I tried a fentanyl shot first. That was one of the options they gave me. The 3 options that I had available to me in my hospital were the gas, which is the same gas they give you at the dentist, a fentanyl shot, and an epidural. I did not choose the gas because the gas at the dentist makes me pass out, so I was like, yeah, I don't want to be passing out during labor, so I skipped that one. And so I decided to try a fentanyl shot first and see if that helped me. So I got the fentanyl shot. It did help me relax in between contractions, but it did not help with the pain of contractions for me personally. So probably 3 or 4 contractions later after the shot, I was like, okay, I would like to get an epidural. And that was the best decision ever. I'm really glad I got an epidural. The anesthesiologist came at about 11:30, placed my epidural. My husband was able to stay in the room with me. My mom, he had her leave to place the epidural, I think just for sterilization purposes. But yeah, my husband stayed with me, and he just kind of helped me while they placed the epidural. It kicked in very quickly, and I felt great after that. I didn't have any pain. I could feel the contractions, I could feel the tightening of my belly, but I didn't have any pain with them, and it was amazing. So at that point, I was able to basically just relax. My husband, you know, he sat next to me. Yeah, both my husband and my mom just kind of sat next to me, helped like rub like my face and stuff to just like help me relax and calm down. And we watched the Great British Baking Show because that's just like, you know, we had access to Netflix, so we're like, okay, let's just turn something on just to kind of distract ourselves and keep our minds busy, because we didn't know how long it was going to take. So after the epidural, around lunchtime, they checked me and I was at a 5, and I was 80% effaced, or 90% effaced, I think. When I came into the hospital, I don't think I said this, but when I came into the hospital, I was at like a 2.5, and I was 80% effaced. So at this point, I was at a 5 and about 90% effaced. And my dad came up and saw us. He had lunch with my mom, and then he came into the room to visit me. And yeah, like I said, we basically just kind of hung out. We watched a show. One of my family friends came up and visited. He works at the hospital. He's a PR guy at the hospital, so he came up and said hi, and that was great. And that was probably at about 3 p.m. And while he was there, I started feeling a lot more pressure. So I was like, okay, I think some things are happening, but I didn't feel like, you know, I needed to tell anybody immediately. So I just kind of waited till he was gone, and then told my nurse, like, hey, you know, I'm feeling a lot more pressure. And so she checked me, and I was at an 8. And so we're like, okay, things are moving along. And from then on, I just started feeling more and more pressure. It wasn't painful at all because of the epidural, just lots of pressure. My husband, just like I said, you know, sat with me through them, talked to me, and then they brought a peanut ball in and put that in between my legs to help me keep dilating. At about, I think, 4 o'clock-ish, they checked me again, and I was complete. I was at a 10, and I was 100% effaced. So at that point, we started what's called laboring down, and that's basically when you are complete as far as dilation and effacement, but instead of pushing immediately, you just let your body continue to have contractions, and the uterus does that work of getting the baby down into the birth canal, so that instead of pushing your baby into the birth canal and then pushing your baby out of the birth canal, you just have to push your baby out of the birth canal because the uterus has pushed your baby into the birth canal. So that's what we started doing. At probably 4:30, 4:45, I was like, okay, I really feel like I need to push. But my midwife was in another delivery, so I had to wait. And I was kind of irritated at that, but looking back, I'm really glad that they had me wait, because I was able to just continue that process of laboring down. And the longer that I waited to push, you know, the further down into the birth canal she got, the less time I had to push. And so I'm glad that they had me wait. But in the moment, I was like, I am ready to push. And I think my husband was getting kind of nervous too, because we knew it was so close and he was ready. And so, yeah, basically it was probably about 5 o'clock, my midwife finally came in. She's like, hey, we're ready to go. She got all dressed, in the stuff, and they got the table all ready for me to push. And then she said, okay, with this next contraction, you're gonna push when, and she was like, I'll count you down and then you can start pushing. So I was like, okay. So I pushed for about 10 minutes and she was born. So yeah, it was a very smooth delivery. I had very minimal tearing. I just had a few stitches. I was so grateful for my husband and my mom. They were so encouraging, and all of the nurses and my midwife, they were so positive, and they were just telling me, like, you're so strong, you can do this. Something that I had talked about with my husband before going in that I wanted him to tell me was, that my body was made to do this, and that I had strength from my Heavenly Father to be able to power through. And so he told me those things while I was pushing, and that was really, and throughout my whole labor, he told me those things. And that was really, really helpful, and I'm just so, so grateful to have such a loving husband who is so attentive to me. So yeah, she was born. They laid her on my chest. My mom cut her cord, which was really special, and then I delivered the placenta shortly afterwards. I feel like not a lot of people talk about delivering the placenta. It was pretty easy, just like one little push and it came out. Definitely not as hard as pushing out a baby. But yeah, and I had my midwife show me my placenta because I wanted to see it, and it was really, really cool to look at. So that was lots of fun, really cool is what I'm trying to say. I enjoyed being able to see the placenta. So she was born at 5:20 p.m. and yeah, basically that's the whole story. Afterwards, we just got her cleaned up, weighed, measured, everything like that. She was 5 pounds 12 ounces, so she was pretty little. We had to get her preemie clothes and preemie diapers, even though she was full term. But she's just been a champ. She's super healthy, and I'm so happy to have her here. And it made all of the pregnancy worth it, definitely, to see her precious little face. So yeah, that was my experience giving birth in the hospital with an elective induction and an epidural. It was an amazing experience. I will never forget that feeling of hearing her cry for the first time and being able to hold her and see her, and seeing the look on my husband's face when he saw her for the first time, and my mom. And it was kind of funny because, so her name is Penelope, we call her Penny. On my birth playlist I had Penny Lane by the Beatles, and right after she was born and the room had settled, that song came on, and we were like, oh my gosh, perfect, it's her song. So that was kind of just like a fun moment. But yeah, it was really awesome. My in-laws surprised us, and we didn't know that they were coming. They surprised us, and they were able to meet her, and that was really, really cool. And then my sister actually ended up having to come in for an induction, and her baby was born 11 hours later. So I got to be in the hospital with my sister. We were 2 doors down from each other for our whole hospital stay, and that was lots of fun. And her baby is also doing well and just so precious. So really, just God is good. So many blessings, and I'm so, so grateful to be able to be a mother. That's something that I've always wanted. So yeah, I hope that if you are planning on having a hospital birth, that this gives you a little bit of peace knowing that it can be a peaceful, happy experience. I hope that regardless of how you give birth, that you have a beautiful experience, and I believe that that is possible for everybody. So yeah, if you like this video, please like it. Leave me a comment telling me about your experiences, and yeah, like tell me about your positive experiences, whether in the hospital or home birth, just so that we can all get to know each other and have a community of motherhood, which is really special. And yeah, subscribe for more like this. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye!